We just watched season 2, episode 20 of Gilmore Girls, and this was my 957th time. And
it was my first time. Never saw it before in my life, and I got thoughts about it. I'm a noob, and are you ready to get into it?
Yeah. I got to tell you the title.
All right, what is the title?
The title is Help Wanted.
Help Wanted.
Right?
I thought yeah. Okay.
Really? Help Wanted? Like, I know what's his face. You're a guy. Kirk is looking for a job, but he always is. And who else is Help Wanted?
Richard.
Oh, Richard. Oh my God.
Did you not realize that Richard was looking for help in this episode?
Oh my God. Right. But he was using everybody as help. Like, he just...
No, he was using Lorelai as help.
He was so dismissive that I was dismississive of those people as well.
Right, you are Richard Gilmore.
Yes. So I want to hear your alternative titles, but first I want to tell everybody that, a lot of you are subscribed and we want to thank you, but for those who are not, join us here in Subscribe Land. Subscribe right where you are. And now we're going to get into alternative titles. So Help Wanted. Okay, I see it. It's cute. What do you got?
I mean, mine was sort of in that vein. I just named it Gone Fishing because I just think that's the funniest expression ever. And I think everybody's checked out and being weird in this episode.
Yes.
And so I felt like Gone Fishing had a nice, blanket, covered it.
Yes.
And I already used the mess with Jess last episode. So I can't use that again. Right. But I would have also called this one the mess with Jess 2.
Yeah, because it's another episode where Jess is the character is not in this at all. Not for a second. Not even in flashback memory type style.
No, this show doesn't do a lot of flashbacks. Actually, have we had any flashbacks on the show? No, we don't. We talk about the past.
Oh, a lot. Yes. We love just bringing up the past and getting mad at each other. But he's so in this episode in every scene, right? So I have a title with the word gone also. I have, is he really gone?
Right. Yeah. Is he really gone fishing?
Yes.
Because then we could tie in both. We do the portmanteau of your name and my name. Yes.
Oh, I like that. Okay. And then I also have a Jess one. I have Jess the Powerful.
Okay.
How powerful is this kid?
I know. Imagine leaving a town and everyone in town is talking about you.
Like so that? Oh my goodness. Ding Dong the Witch is dead.
Okay.
Because everyone was like, that hooligan has left our atmosphere and we can be a small town of just joyous
right. Well, then now
people.
they have no one to hate. It's just going to land on someone else.
It's so bananas. Okay. So yeah, it does start with the gone fishing thing. Luke has gone fishing. First of all, it has to be the next day, right? Because Rory was like, oh, what happened between you and Lorelai? What happened between you and Luke?
Right.
Was it a big fight? And she's convincing her that it's not a big fight. So that means you don't know because you haven't had coffee again. Because
they haven't yet gone to Luke's. So right. And the accident happened at night.
And
so how does Rory already know they're in a fight?
Well, she came home from the hospital. Wait, how does she know? Oh, I guess Lorelai would have had to tell her.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Well, maybe she, because she just says things sometimes. Maybe she got back to Rory and said, yeah, and I let Luke have it about this Jess person,
Right. And we also are not privy to the conversation that Lorelai and Rory had after coming home from the hospital.
Right.
So maybe it's a couple days later because Rory was doped up on pain meds and didn't go get coffee the next day.
And Lorelai skipped on coffee.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, the whole time. So when you go up to a diner and you see a sign that says gone fishing and the diner is closed and dark inside, do you mill around outside the front of it with other people and continuously knock on the door? What is wrong with these people? They're like animals. Like, they can't, it's closed. He wrote a snarky sign, but the lights are off and the door is closed and the chairs are up.
The sign did seem a little angry, right?
Yeah, the sign was passive aggressive.
Oh, see, I didn't want to read into it, but I felt it because I was like, how did he put that together? Like one G didn't do it. He had to go G, 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 and then oh to make sure that everybody saw the sign.
No, the sign is pretty passive aggressive. And like,
or
no,
he's
like
just a child, you know.
And he's just a child. He's in, and it doesn't say like be back Sunday. Like there's no other information. But still, if you walk up and there's no sign at your favorite diner, no sign at all, but the sign on the door says closed, and it did closed. The door is locked. The lights are off. The chairs are up off the floor. Do you just stand around and bang on the door?
But the good coffee's in there.
I don't know what they're doing. There's like a crowd outside.
What do people do without Luke for breakfast?
Apparently they go to the hungry diner.
But Kirk thought this thing was designed to keep only him out because he says there's precedence.
Right. And then he left his wallet in there the day before.
And by the way, I love Luke for this. I think this is a fantastic response to what happened between him and Lorelai, between him and Jess. He is a person who got thrown a teenager and, he sent the teenager away. That's got to feel away. Luke probably feels like he failed this kid. He failed his sister. And he got into a fight with one of the only people that he ever lets close to him at all. Gone fishing is like the nicest response to this.
Yeah.
Like you gotta get peaceful for a minute.
But like, what is Jess gonna do? Like his future is really unknown in this episode. Like, I don't know. So maybe Luke went with went to go visit Jess and hang out with his sister and like try to figure something else out. Like, we really don't know where Luke went. He does come back with fishing stuff.
Yeah, but we do know that he just put him on a bus because Babette in the last episode said he put him on a bus.
Right, he put him on a bus that night, but maybe he went up the next day or something. Maybe he had to close up something.
He told Rory that he spoke to his sister. He made it there okay. So he just put him on a bus. This kid got thrown out of his new life to go back to the original one that he got thrown from.
I know. It's very upsetting, but the townspeople are terrible. Or maybe they're not. Maybe, we are just seeing it through Rory's eyes.
It's pretty terrible through Rory's eyes.
Yeah, but she likes him.
Yeah, but are they not saying what they're saying? I mean, let's get into it. Yes, they have to go into the hungry diner. So, of course, they're going to be sassy about it. But also, like, you ordered 3 cups of coffee before you took a sip. And then you decided it's not even...
I thought Lorelai was atrocious again in this scene where she's like, what's that? To like the smaller coffee cup. And then she's like, it's a coffee cup, like friendly waitress. It's a coffee cup. And she's so snotty about the size of the coffee cup.
But that's supposed to be a joke, though. I want to take that seriously because I also get annoyed when I watch that scene, and I'm like, no, I think it's just supposed to be funny. But I take Lorelai's response to things very seriously.
Yeah, but you're teaching people this is an appropriate way to speak in diners. Like, I don't know that people get this, that like, no, you don't fight I mean, my dad has done this with a glass of wine where he ordered a glass of wine and he thought the glass was too small and like complained. And I was like, that's the size they have. Like, order,
that's weird.
It was like, either send it back or don't, but like, I don't know, give me a pint glass full of wine. Okay. Like, so weird. So I don't know. Lorelai really bothered me. Yeah. And by the way, you have pictures on menus for your international travelers.
Oh, yeah. The pictures on menus never bothered me, but I think it's just because I really like looking at food. Like I would
Yeah,
watch the
it's
food
fine.
channel for
Yeah.
hours.
And if you're illiterate or you only speak Japanese, you're really grateful for pictures of food on the menu.
Yeah, I also think it's just a selling point. Like it's just like,
Whatever,
remember
but
this?
also,
You
but
like
they're
it.
like they're eager to like make fun of everything and to like hate this place, whatever.
They still
see
come from Connecticut where, those are the people who are going to say, oh my God, pictures on a menu. What do you care, you snobs?
exactly.
That's a little bit of their background coming
So
out.
she's being snobby, and
Mhm.
I just don't like that side of her.
Yeah.
And like diners have tiny coffee cups for many reasons. And it's because they waste less coffee. The coffee stays warmer. And those are basically the two reasons.
And a lot of times in diners, it's like the last place that you can get a free refill.
It's true, especially for coffee.
Yeah.
And she's like, leave the carafe, leave the carafe. Ugh. Some places do that though. It's fantastic where they just leave the giant pitcher of coffee at the table.
Really?
I love that when restaurants do that. Diners, somewhere does it. And it's the same carafe too, like the sort of gold brassy one.
I'm surprised they let people handle their equipment, handle their stuff. I feel like less and less people will do that now because people will just be like, oops, I burnt myself. Now I'm closing down this restaurant because I'm suing you.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. One time
America.
I went to a place and they just left it on the table. That was the thing.
That's nice.
Maybe it was a hotel. Like one like a hotel breakfast dining room. Now I'm trying to remember where it was. Anywho, she sees that Michel is, God forbid, trying to enjoy a moment to himself. No, we can't have Michel having a moment to just chill. It's not allowed. She can't have it.
He says, there's no corner of my life that would be free from your incessant scrutiny.
Yep.
And I know, again, this is supposed to be funny, but it only hurts my heart. Am I just soft? I don't find this kind of taunting funny.
Right. I agree. I think it's annoying. Oh, from Michelle's perspective?
No, yeah, from Michelle's perspective.
Oh, well, why can't he just have a quiet breakfast to himself?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I don't think Lorelai is telling a good joke by messing with him so he can lose his peace.
Yeah.
Like, that's not funny to me.
It's rude.
And then she says, can I have a bite? Because she knows that it's going to annoy him. And it's like, okay, yeah, oh, good. You ruined his breakfast. You ruined his time. And then you go back to Rory and she knows that you feel better now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gross. And we're like, I don't know. She's not a good role model for like how to treat people. She treats everybody badly in this scene. The waitress and Michel is no good. Not good.
And then what do you think of like her saying, get me out of dinner because Dean's coming home? She doesn't want the townspeople to tell Dean what happened before she gets.
Yeah. I wrote, she hasn't talked to him yet. They haven't talked on the phone.
Well, it used to be you go to Chicago and that's long distance. So you don't talk to each other until you come back. That's normal.
Oh, I spoke to my boyfriend's long distance when I was in high school. If I was gone for a week, I would talk to him.
I would have to buy a calling card to do that.
So I would buy a calling card and do that.
Yeah, I guess they didn't though.
That's
weird. I don't think that's so crazy. A weekend at your grandma's? Like
a weekend or a week?
Was it a week? I guess I still don't think I guess you can buy a calling card, but I don't think it's that crazy at the time to not have spent money on the phone call because he's just gone.
I guess so. But anyway, I was like, oh, I guess they haven't talked to Dean at all. And nobody from the town talked to anyone. I mean, Dean.
Well, she waited by his house so she could be there when he comes in, so nobody sees him before she does.
Right.
And this fear, I feel this used to be like romantic. You're trying to shield him from this pain, and also like the way that he hears it, but it comes off more manipulative and fearful. But this town is crazy and they will blow it up for the kid. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I think it was weird that she didn't find a way to call him and tell him.
I guess I never thought, like, if I was
also
going
think
to my
that Rory likes
grandfather's house, I wouldn't think that anyone can call me there. I guess but I didn't have a boyfriend in high school. So
maybe my boyfriend was over the top those years, maybe. But I think
sweet.
I think Rory likes an excuse to miss dinner at Grandma and Grandpa. Like she likes to miss Friday night dinner. Also, she's eager to see him. So like, I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a tough sell for like, I can't make it to dinner. Dean's coming home and I really need to like soften this blow for him.
Yeah, I don't think she's eager to see him. I think she wants to soften the blow.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, and Lorelai wants to tell her parents that really big bees stung Rory. That's like your thing.
Yeah, bees are always the answer. Bees?
This is I believe that in your bees prediction and talking about how some characters die of bees, I was like, oh my God, wait till we get to the really big bees.
Bees are unpredictable. You don't know what they're gonna do. But if someone's like late for dinner, you're like, why are you late? And they were like, bees. Would you have any follow-up questions? No, you'd believe that immediately. Who would make that up?
Well, that's the end of the story. Bees. Everybody knows exactly what happened. Yeah. Obviously. So
you're like,
it's a good thing you even made it with all the bees.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
The presidential election was decided. It didn't go the way I wanted. Why not bees? One way or another. It's bees.
Yeah, mind your bees' knees.
That's right. The bees and the birds.
That's what we should have called this. Bees' knees. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we found it. Okay.
Yeah, we did it.
Which means
why do you feel like she's like an abused partner and like she needs to like
no,
go?
I don't. Like for real, I don't. But I don't like that fear feeling around people that I love, and with maturity, I don't think I'm gonna. I haven't felt that in a very long time.
Right.
And it's like, even if I have to tell you bad news, I'm still not gonna. I'm not
afraid.
Yeah, so I don't like that fear, and that fear I think is now called toxic. But I also think that now we're a little less tolerant of people kicking something when they're angry. Like, you know that it could happen, but that person now knows that they need to apologize for that, and that can't be real. That can't be what's normal. Where him kicking the bag later, him kicking his own bag is just letting out aggression. But that's not a reaction anymore that people are comfortable with. Not that we were comfortable with it. Am I making sense? Like,
yeah.
I think that now we would call this toxic behavior and we would be correct.
Yeah, I think being afraid that your partner's going to be so mad at something is not a great sign.
But also, you kind of know what you did. You were going to lie to him about where you were going to be. And I think actually, I take it back, because when you're lying and when you're a liar and when you're doing things that you don't want somebody to come up, that's why she's scared, not because he's a monster. I just put that together.
And also the fact that that Rory said to Lorelai, if Dean calls, tell him I'm at Lane's, meant that Dean had the possibility of calling.
Oh, right. Right.
I mean, that she thought there was a chance he would be calling. Just saying, just throwing that out there, that it wasn't that they were not communicating at all.
Yeah.
It was possible.
She knows this isn't a good look.
Right.
All right. Well, it also means that Lorelai has to go to Friday night dinner by herself, but I think she did pretty well.
Yep.
But you were fearful the whole time, which I loved, because I forgot what it was like to feel Lorelai opting in to help her father start the.
No.
And I was kind of glad about your response to it, because you could see where the fights would come from. Of
course, right? It's such a bad idea. It's an unbelievably terrible idea. Because
one of two
one of two things can happen. Either she's great at it or she's terrible at it. And either way, it's not a good outcome. And in this case, she was great at it. And then she had to say, this isn't my job. I don't do this, like later in the episode.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting what the writer, and I think this is like what the creator thinks of rich people, where because his first of all, he didn't even match his secretary's.
Yeah, that was obscene that he couldn't even, he wanted her to take a pay cut to come with him.
Because
Come on.
And Emily was like, oh my God, the loyalty that this woman doesn't have, and just putting down Margie because she doesn't want to prop you up like as a volunteer.
Yeah, I'm not loyal to you, man. I'm loyal to the paycheck. Sorry.
Like,
I'm just really good at my job to make you think that I care about you.
Right.
And
which
like,
I'm happy to do between the hours of 9 to 5 for this price.
For this exact amount of money is the absolute minimum I will go to pretend that I care about you for 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Why don't you go to a strip club and talk about how they all fell in love with you?
Yeah.
Also.
Go to a strip club and talk about how I think she really liked you.
Yeah. You're the best. You're
that
different.
just means she's really good at her job. And like, you need to pull it together, Richard. And the fact that he wants to close up the whole thing.
I love it.
Because she couldn't. I was like, good, let him do something else. He obviously can't handle it. If this is the first hiccup in your new consulting business and you can't handle the first hiccup, like you're not cut out to have your own business.
I think this is all written to, it always pushes how much the show feels about the grossness of rich people.
The helplessness. They're just so helpless.
But that's how much they don't do things for themselves. That's how much they don't know. And that's how much they dismiss other people. Those people make so much less than them. They're not in their high society clubs. And they're just peons that like kind of roam around them for things to happen to them and for them. And it's Lorelai became one of the maids that they ignore so quickly. It was so sad. And
but it's funny though that they have like house guests or not house guests. They have maids that are interchangeable, but Margie is irreplaceable. You know what I mean? So like, and they don't have that same. So like, what she's one of the good ones is like that philosophy, or like you can't do the business without your business partner, and your business partner is someone you want to pay less.
Right.
But she's not a partner. She'll never be a partner. She's always going to be your secretary.
Right. You're right. Like exactly what you just said. Like you so can't do it without her that you're actually not going to do it. And you still don't see the value in her. That is amazing.
Yep. She's that important that the show cannot go on without her. And you don't want to pay her what she makes.
No.
Currently.
How could you?
Well, I just started. I don't have that kind of money. Anyway, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And then once they get around to like, Lorelai's like, I'll tell you what, I'll come over. And I was like, no, this does not end well. It does not end well. Either direction, either way, it doesn't, it's a terrible idea. Very bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. But meanwhile, Dean did come home. And you didn't like the letter giving. I feel like I would do something like that, but I used to write my feelings a lot, and like I would hand it to my parents. When I was upset, I would write and I would give it to the person because that's the way that I would be.
And then you would stand there while they read it?
No, I guess not.
Yeah. It's the standing there watching you read it that made me cringe. It's so. I wrote a lot of letters in high school. Oh, I was a prolific letter writer in high school. Everything. I wrote down everything. Kept journals, wrote letters, passed notes. Like everything was handwritten down.
Passing notes was so fun.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't know anything, because I spent high school passing notes. And like the only reason I know art history is because the room was dark and it was too dark to pass notes. So I had to learn. That's why I know art history crap, because it was too dark to pass notes in that class. True story.
And I told you I recently found some of the notes that my friends and I used to pass. And it was so, I was like, hey, what you doing? I think you're in this class right now. I'm in this class at so-and-so. I was like, wow, I really spent time doing this. And it was important to do the handoff. Like, no, you must know these thoughts that
yes,
I had
exactly. And like
class.
I folded it in such a way that it opens in such a, like the origami of folding the letter to make its own little pocket or its own little envelope because we were art kids. Like that was like
cool.
half the fun was like the folding. And then, the content is like, oh, I'm so bored.
Yeah.
John's sitting next to me. He's wearing a striped shirt today, but I think he wore it last week. Like, what are you doing?
You might as well be telling someone the dream you had last night.
Yeah. Oh, I think that was in there too. Totally. Just like the content. You just don't want to learn anything. Like that was it.
Right. The amount of not listening.
It takes a lot of effort to not learn anything.
That's so sad.
I know.
Why? Okay.
But
I don't need to take it there.
Hey, I know a lot about art history. So that's what I got.
But I feel like you like art. So that also kept
But
your
I also,
attention.
I know it's true. I wasn't that. I mean, I could go on. But in high school. So the letter writing itself was not what made me like freak out.
So what would you do? Like drop the letter, go home?
No. I think it was lazy writing from the perspective of the writers, because what could she possibly have written that makes it so that by the time he gets to the end of the letter, he's fine? And I think that's lazy writing on behalf of the writers of this scene.
Very interesting. Okay.
Because he's like, what? He did? What? And he's clearly mad and he kicks a bag, which I don't think is as bad as you think it is. I think when I'm glad he hit an inanimate object, which is like not great, but also like not completely inappropriate if you're in a rage.
The rage part is what's inappropriate.
He can't be mad?
Rage is a different word than mad. I'm not saying that I never raged, but like it's regrettable.
Yes.
That's
why a lot of times it is.
Rage is bad. You can have anger. You cannot have rage, or you have to apologize. There's a reason why you apologize. Right, you can't physically rage. You can't. That's not just a vibe. It's like it's pretty aggressive. Again, I'm not saying I'm like above this. I have been that angry.
What if you're raging by yourself in the woods?
It's of note to yourself, like that.
So you're not allowed to have any rage. It's anger or nothing.
Well, it's not that you're not allowed. It's that, okay, if you are physically aggressive, would you not go like, my bad? I didn't mean to put that there? Or it's like perfectly okay.
Well, what do you do when you feel rage? You're not allowed to express it. Or if you do express it,
if you actually feel rage, you need to walk away, but you can't. You got to take it down. Let it pass. In 90 seconds, it will. You cannot rage outwardly. You cannot rage. Am I wrong? Am I just being too? Okay.
I think it's been a while since you've been mad or been in a rage.
I am.
If you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to express any rage.
I'm all the rainbows of feelings constantly, and I have raged. I don't think I was right to rage ever. I don't think there is. You can't. Even protests have to be like, registered and appropriate.
What if the rage that you're in does not affect anyone else at all?
Like how? You would have to be alone.
Something happens, you're alone, something happens, and you are in such a blinding rage and the top blows and you grab a pillow and you scream into the pillow until you're hoarse.
I get it. Like, I'm not saying I don't. Good on me for like screaming into the pillow instead of, scaring someone with that. But also like, whoa, did I just get into a rage? Like, what would that needs to be looked at. That needs to be like,
you're going to get an ulcer. You're going to get an ulcer. Like, I think screaming into a pillow is a very healthy outlet for like super feelings. Like, I feel like there's healthy ways to deal with rage and not healthy ways to deal with rage. And I think like on the whole, like Dean kicking his own bag is not that over the top in terms of like violence.
Well, let's
or like
not compare it to over the top, because no, he didn't hit her. He didn't murder anyone. We're not going to compare it to like a gunfight, we're going to compare it to what I think men were allowed to do. And I think that's like, punching a wall. Like,
Yeah,
yes, it happens,
I don't
but
like wall punching either. Like, I think wall punching is also a red flag. I agree. But like, if I'm with a partner and I see that they are so angry and they are trying to calm themselves down and having trouble with it,
Mhm.
I would say scream into a pillow.
Yes, and then there's something, and then you understand there's something to deal with here. I'm not saying don't scream into a pillow. I'm also not like, I'm saying go for a run also. I'm saying like, yes, there is rage, but like you can't affect other people with your rage. That has to be, and also if you did, which it happens, you have to like recognize, hey, if I'm raged, if I'm enraged, then that means that there's something very, very wrong and needs to be addressed. It's
Okay.
it's an indication. All feelings are an indication for what you got to look at.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's just an indication. Rage is a pretty red alert indication.
Right. For sure. But you're
Yeah.
saying Dean, your point is that when Dean kicks the bag, that's a sign that he's not handling his emotions.
He's a teenager and he's a boy in that time, so I think he is handling it because that's how I think people were taught to handle it. Which is why we think it's completely normal and has happened. And but
What do you think he should have done?
I think all of it is fine. It's fine. He should have, he could have, he would have done that. But then saying, is he really gone? And then asking if she'd stay for dinner because they're having pot roast is the, you're not dealing with it now. Okay, he's gone, which means
That's what I mean. I'm like, what could this letter have possibly have said
that he's gone. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care if she's still really, really in love with him or what it meant that Jess could even take that kind of attention or, that he understood that she liked him in that way. All of that is gone because Jess is gone. Just like the rest of the kooky town, they're all burying their heads about what Rory actually did, made decisions. I'm not saying she's the devil now, but like, there's nothing on Rory because Jess is gone. Everyone is turning into some weirdo ostrich about, and he's also doing it. That rage that he felt, that would be the indication not to shut down and go, well, no, she's still my girlfriend. That rage was more alerting to him like, hey, you should probably break up anyway. It was just a signal.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen in the scene, but come in for pot roast was the last thing I didn't know if Rory's letter to him was her breaking up with him because she realized that she liked Jess enough to get into a car with him and wanted her mom to lie for her. And like, she realized like, if she's doing all of this, she's doing too much for like a quote unquote friend. Maybe she doesn't like Dean as much as she thought she did. And she should break up with him. She doesn't have that emotional maturity at this point because she's a child. But, and then I didn't know if he was going to break up with her at the end of the letter and be like, you did what? After how I feel about that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the end of the letter said he left town. So then he's like, come in for pot roast.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's not dealing with it.
Taylor Doose was like, oh, don't worry about it, teenager who messed up my place where I think grass should be cut 1.5 inches. Like, I'm measuring everything, but it's okay that you bashed into my bench because Jess is gone.
Right.
Everything is okay because Jess is gone.
Right.
Yeah. Folks.
And don't get addicted to pain pills. That's what I like Taylor's advice. I wrote down Taylor's advice on painkillers was hilarious.
Like those Hollywood people.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad advice. It's just no, dude, relax. Not your place.
But you know what? When I was about to have open heart surgery, which it's about to be 10 years ago, that's a lot of what people said to me. Don't get addicted to painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
That was people's advice. That and afterwards, how to hide a scar or how to like make a scar go away. Is major, like if anything was on repeat the most, it was those two things, one before and one after.
When I have surgery,
much so that I was actually nervous about them giving. I would like double check every medication. Don't get me addicted to painkiller. Like I was actually nervous about that more than the surgery itself, because I believe that it happens to everyone, and when that is the case, I never believe that I'm immune. That means that could happen to me, and I need to be careful.
Yeah, I had a surgery, and I got the good pills, and it was take 2 pills every 4 hours, and I could feel them wearing off at about 3 hours, and I would white knuckle it just in agony for that last hour, and then pop 2, and it took about 15 minutes to feel it, and then it would only work for about 3 hours, and then I would just be in agony. And I told the doctor this, and he was like, "You could have taken them at 3 hours." And I was like, "Well, this is why people get addicted to pain." Like I thought that rationale.
I was with you.
I'm following the directions. Like I'm doing this by the letter because I don't want to get addicted to pain pills. And then you go to the doctor, and he's like, "Oh, you just take more." You're like,
no, you
did
the right thing. You did the right thing. No,
I'm being good.
Yes. Yeah, it would scare me that much. It would.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I would deal with that. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness.
Me too. And like, I'm not addicted to pain pills, but when they are prescribed to me, I am not unhappy about it.
See, that too. I'd be like,
but even that mindset, like, if I say that to a doctor, that's got to set off red flags.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like, I don't say anything like it. I'm like, give me the whatever, do what you got to do.
Yeah,
but
they prescribe it to me all the time, and I'm like, well, I thought you guys were all like,
I know, aren't you?
Tight
and they're
about
like,
this.
They're like, "You're not the type. You're such a dork." And I'm like, I could be addicted to pain pills.
It could happen to anyone, man.
Yeah, but I'm too OCD. Like I'm too like by the letter, by the book.
I'm too nervous. Like there are too many interviews of like this started with pain meds.
It started with a broken toe. Like so many of them, all of it, all of the.
Different ages.
Intervention. Did you ever watch Intervention?
Yes.
Half of the stories where it started with a broken foot. Like it started with a wisdom tooth.
Are we just old, or is that really, really terrifying?
I don't know.
Because it still scares me. I'm so careful about that. I had to calm down about taking regular stuff like ibuprofen or aspirin. Like I forget that even exists when I have a pain.
Yeah.
Somebody has to remind me and go, you could just take something for that and it goes away, and you probably should because it's medicine. And I'm like, right.
Right. And you're like, that's how it starts.
Let's wait.
With the aspirin. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want to mask the pain. You're like, I need to know if anyway, that's a whole different thing. But this could be the beginning of the end for Rory. Rory could have a fractured wrist.
Yes.
And she gets the good stuff. She gets some codeine, and then the wrist feels better, but she finishes the bottle because it helps her sleep now. And Rory's given handjobs for crack. That's from South Park. Yeah. I didn't make up that expression.
Okay.
I didn't make up that. We're keeping the show PG.
It could happen to anyone.
It could happen to you, kids. Be careful.
So, okay, but he's just cool with it. She even Rory tells Lorelai the story, and even Lorelai was like, but he was just okay. It was just pot roast. And then, of course, Lorelai is like, well, maybe Dean is even more terrific than we thought he was.
Right. Well, I think Lorelai is just happy he didn't like freak out.
She needs to stop. Enough.
Yeah, I know.
He's more terrific than we thought he was for shoving his feelings down and just going, you want pot roast like a psycho?
I mean, he can't win either way, right? Because if he like punches, he like...
She doesn't have to say that. He doesn't have to be terrific. That's not a terrific thing. She could just be like, oh, that's surprising.
Right.
Because he knows you like Jess.
Or he's probably repressing some, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he lashes out at you in some weird way in a couple days because it takes him time to process this. And he was just relieved that Jess was gone in the moment.
Right.
So, like, be on guard for that.
Yeah.
I still think there's a comeuppance coming to Rory. I still think Dean handled it too well. And, like, he's just not processing it. And it's gonna come back. But maybe I'm wrong. I also think it was lazy writing, that it was all a letter that explained everything, that we don't have to hear her make it make sense and make it be okay. They just have a villain and the villain is gone. So, like, it's so weird.
And also, side thing is Lorelai was wrapping Rory's arm so that she could take a shower. And I recently fractured my wrist. And there's the coolest thing. You used to have to put it together with saran wrap and stuff. Now you can buy something.
Yeah.
And it gets on your arm. It suction cups you in. And you could just get in the shower.
It's amazing.
You already know this? Does anybody know this?
Why did it take us this long to come up with, like, a sleeve that you attach? You know? Like, when I had a boot on my foot during the pandemic, and I was like, how will I walk in the snow? And I'm like, no, they invented that. It's a shower cap for your boot. And you just put it on and you can walk in the snow with your boot. It's fine. Like, we figured it out, you guys. Like, there's
Ask
a thing.
And ye shall receive.
Yeah, exactly. There's a thing for that.
I have to remember there might already be a thing for that.
Right.
So if I ever go, like, you know what they should have? I should just Google it. They probably do have.
Yes. This is a problem my father has. My dad makes up new inventions all the time that exist, that 100% exist. They're out there.
That's funny.
In the world. And I'm like, Dad, a quick Google search says that, Dad claimed he comes up with expressions that he wants. And I'm like, nope. Somebody wrote that in the Times in 1975. Like, you didn't come up with that.
Did he invent Uber?
Yeah,
I bet a lot of people are inventing Uber right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so now here's another person who doesn't know anything. Richard and him walking through what I took as like Office Depot, but you said Staples.
I mean, it was Staples, Office Depot, but the sign in the background said Office Barn, which I don't think exists.
Okay.
Is that real? I think that's
I never saw that sign. Not even this time.
Oh, it's in the scene, Office Barn.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a Connecticut thing or what, or if they just made it up for the show.
Oh, but I missed something. I missed, like, even before we get there. Lorelai comes into Richard's office and behaves like a normal human being. And he's like, I don't know how to answer the phone.
I know. It was like Emily trying to make dinner. Remember when Emily made dinner, like, in season 1? And she's like, what's a plate? I never heard of a stove. Durka. And, like, Richard is doing that version of, like, I don't know
pens?
what a pen? What's a pen? Like, he didn't have a pen handy.
Where does one get a pen from?
I know. And, like, it just made me feel so much worse for Margie. Like, Margie had to deal with this frickin' idiot for 20 years.
Who basically, I mean, at a certain point, it feels like you're just getting all the credit for what Margie is thinking ahead about.
Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, you really literally can't run your office without Margie because you're that stupid. You're that inept that she's been propping you up all these years.
Where do I get pen and paper? I should buy more than one ream of paper? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just embarrassing for him. But he got the phone set up. Like, he plugged the phone in.
Well, actually, there was a list that Marge did. She moved his stuff there. So the stuff is moved in boxes because she arranged all of that. That's why he thought that she would just come with him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So she set a bunch of stuff up. She just wasn't, like, taking the next step into actually moving into it with him.
Wow.
And he's still unappreciative. Like, why would she do that for you? You don't even work where she worked with you.
Yeah, you're paying her.
She did that probably to negotiate a salary that was
She probably didn't think you would offer to pay her less.
But also, she's probably about to retire with a good pension with this company.
Also, she probably hates you. Let's be, like she just hates you because you don't know
what. She's gonna hate the next person, so who cares?
Exactly, because you don't know, because everyone's so inept. Ooh, what's a phone? Yeah,
that was nuts.
That was nuts. That was very embarrassing. But they had to illustrate that, like, Lorelai's got this. Lorelai knows how to work a phone because she runs a hotel.
He's like, look, Post-its in various hues. I've seen Emily use them on her vanity mirror. I'll get some for her. Lorelai goes, she'll think it's Christmas.
It is Christmas.
What is happening?
I have Post-its right here.
In various hues?
Various hues of Post-it.
Okay.
It's
weird.
Great. I do want to look up if Office Barn's a real place, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because it sounds fake. Speaking of you and me fighting about how to handle rage, I didn't realize we were having a fight, but we hung out in person on Sunday. And, people listening to this don't know when it was. A couple days ago, we hung out in person, and you wanted to revisit the fight that I didn't know we had. And so you were like,
we need to finish.
Right. And you were like, we had an argument and it was about how, like, Lorelai yelled at Luke, and is she right? And I was like, I don't know if she's right, but it's understandable. And we just had the same fight again that we had in the episode.
I'm throwing this one in.
Except our boyfriends were there now to moderate. And
I had to cut it off because we need to record this. I need
that's
to
what
understand.
You said. You were like, we're in mid same fight, and you go up. We got to do this on a live. I was like, I'm not your monkey. Perform for you.
But you were important. I
don't want to fight with you here. We're not fighting here at this beautiful barbecue. I'm going to fight with you on a live episode. And I was like,
referees.
Okay. So peace was restored to the gathering, but you guys need to log in and see the third fight.
You need to rage in appropriate ways.
How does someone do? Okay. So we're gonna each take some 400 level classes on rage and illustrate what we know. On a live episode, we do these live episodes it's not an episode really, but a live chat where we go over feedback from you, the viewers/listeners. And I'm finally able to see some of the comments because I am being kept pure from the comments because sometimes people can't help themselves and give spoilers and such. So that's why we have these live sessions, and you guys are invited. And if you want to know when they are, you got to subscribe on YouTube. That's
going to be fun because arguing is fun in this context. And the wrap-up show.
I don't even know what I'm arguing.
Oh,
I don't even understand.
How?
I don't
okay, we'll get it. No, I will. I'll make you understand. Okay. Now, even Taylor's not upset, like I said, and everybody thinks that, like, Jess is. Oh, what Taylor says about Jess. And everyone should look at themselves if they're agreeing with Taylor Doose so freaking hard about a 17-year-old.
What did he say?
There's absolutely no way that you would be involved in something like that. And if it weren't for that salmonia wannabe,
that was the word what I don't know what that word means.
I don't know. I think I looked it up and it was just, I don't know. And then he goes, Chachi alone will be held responsible for that incident. Okay,
right.
Good. Now take a peach. I just want to tell the town that you're on this guy's side. This guy who uses words like hooligan. And now all of your dreams can continue coming true because this boy will not disrupt the purity that is you people. Goodness. This is why people like being in small towns, and this is why people hate being in small towns.
And I wrote that Taylor, and then later in the episode, Babette is completely over the top.
Ooh.
With her advice too.
She was in a cult. Guys will do that to you. They can't help themselves.
Oversharing. I think she described the Moonies.
It's hard being a woman.
It's yeah. She had too much in there.
That was a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But before that, we finally see that did it used to be a flower shop? What was next to Luke's? The shop that's opening?
That shop is not next to Luke's. It's down the street further.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was there before?
I don't know. They didn't say. They were guessing as to what was going to open. It was like something like a doily shop, not a doily shop, but so yeah, it's a music store.
Nice. And Lane is out of her mind excited, which is very exciting.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah. I liked that when we get back to Richard's office, they're doing the DSL versus cable thing that we had in the early 2000s. You remember? Remember when cable came out and we were all like, first there was dial-up, then there's DSL, and now there's cable. Like our minds were blown. It was so great.
I also like that you used to be able to threaten a company with another company. Oh, they'll be here in 20 minutes. Yeah, they don't care. They'll be here Tuesday and you'll love it.
Yeah.
You can't change it. You used to be able to call customer service and like finagle something or convince. Or
no, now everything's a monopoly. Now everything's like, oh, you want gas? There's one gas company. If you don't like that gas, I don't know what to tell you.
But we're also calling companies as if like, and the person you're calling to help you with your finances, your insurance, your health care, that person thinks they're in charge. You think you're in charge, and no one cares about the other person. Like, I've had bank people be like, I'll hang up. But
yeah,
nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares.
I know if you
anymore.
were like, oh, the cable people are coming at 5:05, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
They would not care. That does not work anymore.
Yeah.
I have haggled certain things, but not entire companies.
Not people's schedules. Not really.
No, they can't tell you when they're coming. They're like, I'll be there between 8 and 5. And you're like, can you narrow it down? And they're like, no. There's no way to narrow that down. It'll be when you go to the bathroom and then we'll leave. Like, there's no way to do this. You have to be home all day.
Yeah.
And if you do not answer the door within 10 seconds, we will leave the premises.
And you can't do anything about it because you can't breathe unless you have internet.
Yeah.
So who are you calling? They got you.
No, exactly. And like Seinfeld covered this too, where like you can't make an appointment with a 2-hour window. You can't.
Right.
There's no way. Ugh.
I also liked when he said, like, you know how to make the reservation.
You just don't know how to keep the reservation.
Anyone can take a message.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've messed that joke up for you, Seinfeld. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I showed that it's not that easy. All right. So, yes. Oh, my goodness. And the money's under the rabbi. The
money's under the rabbi was like, okay, it's where you keep your money.
I did not put together the Jew aspect of that, which is pretty sad of me not to pick up on. But, yep, we could do anything we want.
I was just thinking, like, why under the rabbi? Like, I know, like, that's, like, we left, okay, so in my household, if you had to leave money, it was in the fishbowl. There was this decorative fishbowl and a little ceramic fish. And so
no water,
but it was painted blue. It was really cute. So like, that's how you'd leave money. Like mom would be like, I left money in the fishbowl. That was our phrase, but you would put the fish on top of the bills so they wouldn't fly away, but so that you knew they were there with like intention,
Okay.
Money in the fishbowl. So like every family has that, I think. And so they're in their family. It's under the rabbi. It's like so weird. Like, okay. Like not on the table, like, I don't know.
And then it plays Hava Nagila.
Yeah. It's great. It really drives home.
Yeah.
Where was your money spot in the house?
There was the cups, which is just in the cupboard in one of the cups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
I mean,
different cup each time?
No, it wasn't a cup that we're going to use. It was like a more narrow cup.
I see.
And it was like, off to the side. And if I'm remembering right, but I do remember going into the cups and there might have been some cash there. And it's a see-through cup, and it's not like it's an amount of money that you're going to want to cover up if somebody were to come and have nefarious thoughts.
Oh, yeah. And like, I'm in people's
20,
houses
you know?
all the time. Right. And people leave 20s under, like, with intention. You know what I mean? It's not like it fell out of a bag. Like, I left this money for something.
Yes.
And so you put it under a coaster. I don't know, like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, one time I put, oh my God, I'm an idiot. So I hid money from myself. I'm living on my own as an adult. And I had this, like, I think somebody gave it to me. It was this like tea set that I don't use, but is very pretty. And I put a few 20s in there. I think it was $100. And I'm like, oh, that'll be, because we used to need money. Like if you're ordering takeout, you pay at the door, and just cash. I never would have cash. I didn't want to go to the ATM. There it is. But then I forgot that I set that system up for me. I was doing a garage sale at my friend's. I brought a couple of things to her place to sell for me. And one of those things was the tea thing. Luckily, it wasn't sold. My friend was like, oh, maybe I'll keep it if you're not into it. Opens the thing. There was $100 in there. I would have just sold that for the $10 or whatever.
That person.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, that's what, like, when you donate stuff to like Goodwill or Salvation Army, like the first thing they do is go through all the pockets and get.
And that's yours to keep. That's my bad. You don't need. You don't and can't keep track of cash. Plus, there's a lot of people, especially now with social media, is like, and the $100 came with it because we're just like, you know, doing anti-pranks or whatever, like fun pranks. Oh, the prank is that you get money. So I don't think anyone needs to give back money found in something like that.
I always put a $20 bill in my winter coat when I put it away. So when I take it out, I get to find a 20 in the pocket. But if I forgot I did that, and the whole point is that you forget you did that.
Yes.
But if I forgot I did that and donated, no, I'd still check them. I'm a pocket checker.
I check pockets, even though I check it before I put it in the hamper. I still check it a lot of time, most of the time. I'm not perfect about it, before it goes in the wash too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What were we talking about? All right. So Lane finally gets to the new music store, whose proprietor is none other than Carole King.
Yes.
I had to look up what she looked like because I saw her in the opening credits.
I hate that you saw her in the opening credits.
I would have no idea what she looked like.
I wanted you to just experience the music person and not know that was Carole King.
That's right. I saw it in the credit. The credits are a spoiler.
Yeah.
Because it had special appearance by the Bengals.
Yeah.
And special appearance by Carole King. And I was like, whoa. And then I realized I don't know what she looks like. And then when the proprietor of the music store, I'm like, that's gotta be her. Because it can't be Karen auditioning to work for Richard. So I'm like,
although, I don't know. Yeah, but you were right. Yeah.
Yep. And Lane figures out she wants to be a drummer, which is so cute. I wanted to be a drummer at that age too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And my mom was like, I will buy you a set of drumsticks until you get over this, which is what happened. It didn't get any further than
that. Is a tough choice for parents. That's an expensive start.
And we had
hobby.
no space. And like I think she got me a drum pad that doesn't make sound. Like it's to practice. So she got me a drum pad and 2 drumsticks, and that was what she wanted. She's like, get really good at that drum pad and I'll get you a real drum.
That's fair.
Then by the time I lost interest.
Yeah.
Didn't take.
But did it take a little, or you were like, no, mom was right?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, mom was right. It was boring.
Okay.
I didn't love it. But I was in a band that we made up that we never played our instruments. And like that was my role in the band that didn't exist.
You just were in a band?
We wanted to sit around and write songs and make
club?
It was like a book club, but we wanted to sit around and make album art, what the album would look like. So we do that, but you can't make an album if you don't have a band. So we were in a band. We just didn't play our instruments.
Funny. I thought it was like, isn't that the story of the Go-Go Girls? Like they didn't know how to play instruments at all, but they were like, we don't care. We just want to meet boys. They did what a lot of guys do. They're like, oh, let me be in a band, meet some chicks. And
That's
they
so
just
funny.
were like
I love
awful in
that.
the beginning.
That's what we did. Yeah, that was us. Except we didn't, none of us stuck with our instruments. Yeah. And only one of us could sing, whatever. But mine was drummer and I wanted to be a drummer. But Lane has what I didn't have, which was actual desire to play drums and not just defaulted to drums because you had to pick something.
Carole King responding to Lane saying, I need to practice here when my mother is in church was so automatically understanding of what this artist is now asking you for. I just thought that was so sweet.
I know.
There was something and I just always feel for Lane because I had to hide being a singer. Like, I didn't want my parents to know. They weren't happy about it. I was on tour and my mother was like, ugh, really? That's what you do? All right. Like, it's just not a noble pursuit.
Right. It feels like to them a waste of time.
Well, it's downright gross.
Yeah.
Like, it's what bad girls do. And bad guys too.
Yeah.
Also, it's like entertainers are beneath people.
Right. But they got to be somebody's kid. Yeah. The losers.
I mean, I'm into them.
Yeah. No, me too. But like,
apparently
according to your parents. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Lane getting the job, because when they said music store, I was like, oh, Lane's going to get a job there. And then she walks in and the proprietor is like, don't touch that. And then demands that she sits down at the drums kit. And I was like, it's confusing messaging, lady. Like,
I always thought that too.
I'm like,
but I guess she means don't touch the instrument. But to me, the seat of the drum set is part of your instrument. But
I mean,
maybe it's a technicality.
This is a gray area of like what not to touch. Like,
and she gave her the sticks. So
I know, gave her the sticks, and then don't touch the drum. Like, geez, Louise, lady, yeah. That's a mean tease. But we get back to Richard's office, and he is interviewing Karen, who seems to have everything together.
Karen built an office from scratch. She helped double productivity and billing hours.
Yeah.
Excuse me, hired.
I'm just noticing the radiant sunlight that is
all of a sudden.
You see the sun?
Yes.
Not this light. This light.
Yes.
That is unexpected. And if you're only listening, that's the reason to go to YouTube and see what I'm talking about. But yeah, Richard's being weird about his.
He's not even paying attention. He goes, "Thanks for coming." Puts on his glasses.
Yeah.
Waits a beat and goes, "Karen."
Yeah, he obnoxiously forgets her name to the point where it's rude.
So rude.
And she's being nothing but professional. I kept waiting for her to say something crazy or off the wall.
Right.
Be like, and then I ate a bunch of lizards. But no, she's a completely normal person. She's like, the point is that she's perfect. And he doesn't like her because he likes Lorelai doing it for free.
Not just that, Lorelai, it's just a bunch of minions. Like, of course people have to help you and have to come with you for less money or work for you for free. Otherwise, how would you continue to be able to do your important work that everybody needs for you to do? Why can't you all just do your positions so that I can be in mine?
It was disgusting. Like, he's just being a jerk.
And I think Lorelai was dealing with it pretty well. And then he's like, he's so stunned that, what was this, like the second or third day she's fully there every day, now handing him.
Yeah. And like, he's like, tomorrow for lunch, we'll get this. And she's like, there is no tomorrow. Like, I don't work here. I'm helping you. This is why I said it was a bad idea. That's why I said it was a bad idea.
But so dismissive to even be like, oh, then you could leave. And she's like, well, we can have lunch. No, I'm done with lunch.
Yep.
Oh, my bad, Your Highness.
He was
please.
such a child, such a gross child in this scene. Did not like Richard right here.
But he's always like that.
Yeah, but they find common ground every now and then. Like they
yes, no, I mean he's always that's his heart. That's who he is.
Yeah.
He's always like that.
Ugh, gross. I don't think he's always like that, but it annoys me when he switches back and forth from like they're getting along, he's learning what a stapler is, they're having fun, they're doing banter in the store, and then they get back to the office and he's like, "You can go now." Clap, clap.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. Can we talk about the party yet?
Yeah. I mean, Lorelai tries a burger, spits it out. Everything is Jess's fault. I mean,
Right.
that's...
And Rory's taking half the blame. Rory's like, "It was partially my fault. Like I gave him the keys. I got behind the wheel."
And I think she's right. And here's the danger of not giving this girl her set of responsibility for this accident. First of all, it's an accident, so accidents happen. But okay, both of these kids were responsible. And if you don't throw some of that responsibility on that girl, here's what happens. She goes, "Oh, then only deviants
Yep.
do what
Yep.
I want to do and what I wanted to do and what I
Yes.
did do." Meaning, I now am living a double life. You split her personality in half, and it's the one that you think she is, and you need her to just be one-sided. And she now relates to this other side that she understands you all think is a disgrace.
Yes.
And so now that is how you not create, but that is how you push people into the side of like hiding and
Yeah.
turning into sort of the bad kid that you expect them to be,
Right.
because they now associate with that because you're separating those thought processes.
I completely agree. If you're telling her that she has no responsibility for her own actions and that she can easily find a scapegoat for anything quote unquote bad she does,
it's never her when bad things happen.
Nope, it's always because she's always been an angel, so she never needs a stern talking to.
That's dangerous.
Because clearly a bad influence. I completely agree. You're going to create a monster.
Mm-hmm. You're also going to create a monster for that person's inner person. Like they have to now navigate that split personality. That oh, I have a bad side, because you now said like, no, this is bad, this is good, you're only good. So it's like, oh, these people don't know I'm actually bad.
Right. Or that I'm not 100% good. It's not even like she's actually bad. It's just that she doesn't feel completely not responsible. Even if she thinks she's 1% responsible, people need to acknowledge that.
But she is responsible. She made choices, several
of them.
I
know. I'm saying, but but like even if we're not arguing about which one of them is more responsible, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if she has one drop of responsibility, it counts.
I agree.
And you need to address it. And she's trying to own up to that. And people keep dismissing her because they're too eager to blame the devil, the Jess character, who I'm going to miss as a character.
Yeah. Apparently everybody else's. They were right. Nothing interesting happens when
he's not there.
I mean, why do you think Rory likes him?
I like chalk outline Jess. I don't like money stealing Jess. I like chalk outline Jess. That was pretty funny. And like the smirk when he stole the baseballs. Did you steal all the baseballs? And he smirks. I'm like,
see, unfortunately, when he smirks, I'm like, oh damn, that's funny.
It's pretty funny.
But it's awful. But yeah.
So I completely agree. And Rory is begging to have some accountability for this. And she keeps getting dismissed, including by Lorelai. And then this comes to a head when they get to the party and Emily sees the cast.
And loses her mind.
Talks about this, I wrote this down, talking about Rory in front of her as if she can't hear her.
And also,
which is annoying.
She fractured her wrist. Or her arm or whatever. I fractured my wrist also. Sucks. It sucks. I couldn't wash my hair. It's annoying. But like, okay. She's a kid. And I don't even think it was her dominant hand. Whatever.
Right. I think Emily's response is over the top. And also talking about Rory in front of her as if she can't hear you is insane and insulting and gross.
Bringing up Jess again, saying, I thought that you weren't going to, Emily did what Lorelai did to Luke. Emily said, "This is your fault. You needed to keep her away from it. You needed to do this. You needed."
But exactly. And now Rory can see that her mom and Emily talked about her behind her back. About, you said you were going to keep him from her. What are you talking about? Like, what information that Rory is getting now that like my mother and grandmother are conspiring about who I hang out with? Are you kidding?
And they don't know me well enough to know if I'm saying I had some responsibility in this. I'm begging you to ask me what happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm begging you to go.
They don't want to hear the whole story. They just want to be able to say that bad boy. So Lorelai does the right thing in this situation, which is leave the party to have the fight. Like, go, like, can I talk to you in the hallway? Which was good because I was afraid they were going to have a blow up in the middle of the party and everyone was going to stop and turn, but they didn't do it that way. They go to the hallway. They have a very realistic fight, actually. I thought like the dialogue in the fight was like pretty probably how it goes. And they're such good actresses. They go back and forth.
Well, Lorelai says a lot of things of significance again that I think she shouldn't, but she's saying if Dean would have been driving, there would be no accident.
That's a ridiculous thing to say.
She also said, I know that you think that Jess is your friend, but he's not. He's a completely out of control, really angry kid who has no respect for Luke, who has no respect for me. I think she is right about that. But like, you're yelling at Rory about some other guy's feelings. Don't even worry about that. It doesn't matter if he's her friend or not. Like, are you her friend right now? And then she says, when my daughter comes home broken, I don't know, my daughter comes, I get to something, I don't know, I
get to be mad at the person who broke her.
Yes. And then she goes, he's gone, I win, you're wearing a cast, and I get to hate him forever. What did you just say?
Yeah.
Also, again, you're dismissed. Like, I don't even think you know what happened to her. And like, why don't you ask the kid why you said turn right instead of going back to Luke's?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to know that
about her. It doesn't sound like they've had that conversation at all.
You don't want to know that she would be a person who would leave the homework site, leave the safe place that's Luke, go on a joyride, enjoy the badassedness of that, turn right instead of going back when he gave you the choice. He's not kidnapping you. You don't want to believe that that's your kid.
Nope.
And that's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem. And because nobody is black and white, you know, nobody is all villain or all good. I think this scene was indicating that like Lorelai's blind spot is going to be Rory's complexity, that she's developing a more complex personality.
But isn't that what isn't that why every parent starts getting annoyed by their teenager? Isn't that what Emily had trouble with Lorelai with?
Yes.
Like, you got the good
I used
kid
to be able to control
now.
you, and now I don't. I used to be able to understand you because I was there with you 24/7. And now I don't understand you.
Yeah.
I gave you all your thoughts. And now you're straying from the thing, and it's hard. So
she's
Lorelai
responding just like Emily. Isn't that disappointing?
Yep. But Lorelai can't see it. She's got blind spots. And maybe she doesn't want to. She doesn't want. It really is easier. Anger is so much easier than any other emotion. Anger is the easiest one to flip to.
Yeah, they say that like if you're angry, there's more likely a different emotion underneath that you just don't want to feel, like sadness or disappointment. Yeah. But there was like you said, one sweet moment with Lorelai and Richard. But I think it's only sweet because Lorelai allowed it to be, because Lorelai wasn't being petty and Richard got to be whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And he even said, yeah, I hired Karen. She's no, and he paused because the real answer was, she's no you, Lorelai, and thank you. And he said, he goes, she's no Margie. And Lorelai has to understand that that's as far as his warmth could happen out loud. And she accepts that. When these people accept each other's behaviors on certain level and let go of like what you would love it to look like when your dad was proud of you, then they get along. But you notice one person always has to give up their version of what they think warmth and comfort is. to accept that other person, that's as far as they can go. They said, thank you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has to eat a bunch of like insult, it's just not cool. I don't know.
If you want to be around family, it's like we said last time. With some people, you just talk about the weather.
Yeah.
With some people, you accept that when they look at you a certain way, it says, look, I don't know how to hug, but if there was hugging in my body, it would be happening to you. But please just accept this look and I'm going to walk away now because I can't go further than this in my expression.
Right.
Is that, I don't, we're not getting married. This isn't, it's just, that's how your father is. You want a relationship with your father, that's a hug.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough and sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you're willing to accept that and sometimes you're like, nah, I want the whole thing. You need to do more work. You're not doing enough work.
Yeah, you're not going to get it anyway. You could want what you want. You're just going to be disappointed.
Right, but both people have to want it. And if one person, like one person's always going to disappoint the other if like only one person wants it.
Yeah.
Right. Or like, why won't you open up to me?
Right.
Like all right.
You don't get to pick that.
Right. Yeah. Can we talk about this scene when Luke gets back?
Luke and Rory. Luke when it's him and Rory.
I know. I want the Luke and Rory show.
It's so sweet.
And that he says, I bet it's itchy. Don't put a pencil in there. And I've done that. Not a pencil. Really? But I stuffed something into a cast when I was a kid and it didn't come out until we sawed the cast off.
What was it?
A straw.
Oh.
A plastic straw. And I put it into my cast. And it didn't come out until we took the cast off.
Oh my God. Isn't it trippy how they take a cast off? They just put a drill
just a saw. Yeah. Like a table, like a hand, like, I don't know, there's a better word for it, but like a table saw, basically.
Everyone's just cool with it. Just like, no, don't worry, we'll stop in time. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, everyone's done this before.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
Cool. I couldn't even look. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I looked. I was a kid, so nothing, I had no fear.
It, for me, was like a year and a half ago. I was like,
yeah. Really no, as a kid, I was like, whoa, cool. I just couldn't believe how something that was once squishy became fiberglass. Like, that was really cool to me. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around that. Anyway, so he gives her cast advice and talks to her like a person and not like a child or an idiot.
Oh, and may I say, my cast advice is I used a fat nail file. I knew you could drop things in, so I used a really fat, long nail file. That's a good itcher scratcher that's my little tidbit. Yeah.
I still think that could get stuck in there.
It can, but because I've watched so many shows that say don't use a pencil and things like that, I was a little more careful. Plus, I was 50.
Yeah.
I'm not letting it go.
It's good. Yep.
But yeah, he's so sweet and he treats her like a person. He's the only one.
And he's come back presumably after a week because she got out of one Friday night dinner and the party at Richard's was the second Friday night. So it's been at least a week that he's been gone. He opens the thing. He goes, "You want some coffee? I'll make some coffee. Have a donut." Have a rock hard, week old donut.
Yeah,
kid.
She shouldn't eat that. Yeah.
Don't eat that donut, Rory. But then he says, she's sort of dancing around. I want to watch the scene again. I didn't get a chance to, but she's sort of dancing around the elephant in the room. And she's like, she doesn't even say, "How's Jess?" She goes, how does she open the topic at all?
Something about like, did he make it home okay or something like that? Because he said, I talked to his mom. He got home okay.
Okay.
And then she asks about his stuff. And
what about his stuff? And he goes, I'm going to send it to him. And she goes, that makes sense. And
it's
then
very nice. And she goes, Luke, it wasn't his fault. And Luke goes, I know it wasn't. He's the only one who was like, you were there too.
The only adult in her life that will treat her like the complex person she's becoming.
Well, except when he beats up her ex, the child, because he has his feelings.
I know.
I think fishing helps him. He went into a rage and instead of kicking something, he went fishing.
You don't know if he kicked anything while he was fishing.
He could do
alone in the woods, screaming alone in the woods, because apparently for you that's not okay.
It's not that it's not okay. It's an indication that something is very wrong.
I think it's an indication that you're handling your emotions productively.
But what comes after you yell and scream or kick something?
Relief.
But you still have to look at...
You burned off the steam.
But something else needs to happen. You need to look at what you just burned the steam off of. Why are you that upset? It's an indication to look at it.
Yes,
you didn't
of course
finish.
you have to
That's
look at it, but you
done.
don't always have the time to look at it right now. You just want to burn off steam.
Well, it'll find you then. You don't have the time.
I'm saying it's going to find you.
You're saying the same thing.
Because you don't want to burn any steam off. You're like, you have to examine it.
Oh,
like, you
please
don't have time
come to our
You're
fights.
mad.
I mean, our live stream.
Gotta get fighting about this stupid fight.
Well,
I don't even think we're fighting.
That's because fighting's fun this way.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so you take a kickboxing class because you got a lot of rage, right? So you're like,
I'm judging and
too much rage.
A referee.
Well, do you have trivia for me that does not involve that Carole King was in this episode?
It is part of my trivia, but I do have trivia that's not a part of that. Okay, so this is season 2, episode 20. It's called Help Wanted. It was out May 7th, 2002. And the first piece of trivia is about the waitress at the diner. Her name is Patrika Darbo. And I thought she was the receptionist from the movie Office Space because she has that, hold one moment. I don't do hold one moment. She had that whole, so I looked her up thinking like, and I had already written the notes like this whole time I thought it was the Office Space, and I was like, Office Space girl. And I'm like, wait, this is not the same person. I had to go back and forth like I'm delusional or something. Anyway, she's done the usual 2 episodes of Seinfeld, The Big Bang Theory, Desperate Housewives, Dexter, Married with Children. But do you know this person?
I know, I feel like she looked very familiar, but you're right. Like, I think she's a character actress who's been in like everything.
Yeah, we've definitely seen her. She's been in like the memorable episodes of Seinfeld, but I still don't really remember her. What people actually know her for is 508 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Oh.
508, and then 74 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh my God. Not in my wheelhouse. Amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
But she looked familiar to both of us, I think, right?
Yeah.
Really interesting. So yeah, the new music store is Stephanie Bloom. That's the name of the character. And she is Carole King. She sang the theme song Where You Lead. And here's the thing. So originally, Amy Sherman-Palladino wanted Carole King to write the score for the whole series. They actually, Carole King declined it, and she instead was like, hey, I'll give you this song and I'll even rewrite it a little bit for the mother-daughter theme, and I'll record it with my own daughter so it could matchy-match. So they just became like chums. And as this show does, Gilmore Girls just kind of throws people they like into a character. So
I love it.
They developed a relationship, and Amy wrote the part for Carole King.
That's amazing.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
It's like, I think
Carole King is nailing it. She's like a totally believable actress.
Yeah, she's doing really well. But she does, it is a different way. Like, I think musicians do come off different. Like, I knew the first time I saw it, I'm like, this is a musician.
Right.
Because the show has musicians just like being actors, and there is a difference to me. Anyway, then there's Karen, the assistant. Her name is Eevie Peck. She also was in Seinfeld. She also was in Tenacious D, Charmed, The Young and the Restless. But here's the thing. When I looked her up, most of her credits were producer credits. 21 episodes of the show 10 Items or Less, and 18 episodes of co-producer and assistant producer for the TV show Quick Draw. I just think that's fun. Like when you produce so much, but then you also get to be on like Seinfeld and Tenacious D.
Who did she play on Seinfeld?
I don't even know. I was blown away by the producer that I didn't even, yeah.
Yeah.
And
She's like in
apparently
all...
all of the Seinfeld like extras and randos, they all just like had these huge careers aside from that one little moment they had on Seinfeld.
I
So
love it.
amazing. And
Yeah.
then the last one is kind of like a silly tidbit that was fun. I learned it from IMDb. And so Richard mentions Radar from MASH in the episode. And
Yes.
that character, Edward Herrmann, who plays Richard, he starred in an episode of MASH in 1980. So I just think it's like a little meta,
a little wink, a wink and a nod. I like that.
Yes. And the other thing on IMDb was the thing that you mentioned that somebody was like, hey, this scene when Luke gives Rory the donut, this place was closed for a week. This man should not be giving anyone any donuts.
Thank you.
So they did the math and you were right. What you got in terms of predictions? You were predicting all along. Some of your predictions I had to shut up about because they came true like around now, you know? So you are guessing pretty well in some things.
Episode, like within the episode, it's easy. It's easier. The arc of like where this is all going, I'm not as good at apparently. But I think, okay, so Richard's new job is going to stress him out. And then Emily's going to say, you're working too hard. You need to quit. And he's like, but it's my own thing. Gilmore, what is it? The Gilmore group is going to take up more of his time than his like jobby job, because now he's the boss. He's the CEO. He's the one doing the deals. And this is not a retirement job. This is an entirely new career. And
is he going to like it?
He's going to love it. He's going to love it because he feels useful and he's in control, and Emily's not going to like it, or the rest of them aren't going to like it because it's killing him and it's taking too much time.
Okay.
But I think he loves it because he's, it's nice to own your own company, some say. But yeah, it's going to like give him an ulcer or something. I think Dean is also going to Dean is going to break up with Rory in now a crappy way, because I think
Jess is gone. What could go wrong?
I know. I think he has not, like we said, expressed his emotions properly, and he's going to sit with it, and he's going to think about it, and he's going to think about it, and he's going to think about it. And then one day, maybe the next episode or a few, he's going to explode and say, what were you doing in the car with him anyway? Like it's going to hit him via, later. Why were you even in the car? And then they're going to have a fight, or he's going to see the car, which is what I've been saying all along, that this car, something, that you let that jerk drive my car that I made you.
That does.
And then they break up. And I still think that I made you a car. I like that Emily also blamed Dean. That was great.
Right. That was even more appropriate.
Yeah. Oops. I think that let's see, any other more specific question. I think we're still at the end of the season. So I think the season, we have two more or one more for the end of this was
2 more.
20. Okay. I still say we end on a wedding. We still need Suki's wedding. But I think we also end on the Dean and Rory breakup. I think that's how season 2 ends.
You said you have been saying that, the wedding at the end and the breakup at the end. You also said Jess would have to do with the breakup, but now you think it's just going to be like out of nowhere at the wedding.
It's not going to be out of nowhere because he's going to get mad about Jess. But yes, I think it'll be at the wedding. Okay. I think Rory gets broken up with while she's in whatever she's wearing to the wedding. So she has to be dressed all pretty. I need pretty girl crying, pretty girl having a fight, because this season opened with them getting back together. Because last season ended with them breaking up. And we haven't seen what's his face because he got expelled or whatever. That was great. Tristan. Yeah. No more Tristan. I also think we haven't seen, we saw Paris 2 episodes ago, right?
Yeah,
when
Paris
she and
is still in
Richard
the mix.
when she and Richard were advising each other on the.
She's actually his business partner.
Yeah. Why didn't she get the job?
Oh, she goes to high school.
Oops. Oh, well, I guess you don't go to high school anymore. You work for me.
Right.
I'm Richard.
There's so much upward mobility. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still there. And what happens with Christopher?
Oh,
are we going to see him before the end?
Christopher has to be single again because that was a dangling thread. He was vague about what's her face? Sherry last episode. Oh no. Does he make a scene at Suki's wedding to try to get back together with Lorelai? That would be so stupid. Because she's dressed up for the wedding. There's going to be everyone dressed up for everyone's pretty, and there's going to be fights.
But why would Chris be at Suki's wedding?
Because he's a freaking idiot. He came into town because he forgot a wrench in Lorelai's garage, and he walks back in. And he's like, "Oh, I needed my wrench," and she's like, "Oh, it's in the garage. You're amazing for showing up." And he's like, "Yeah. While I'm here, oh, what are you doing today? Oh, you're going to Suki's wedding? I'll go too. I'm Christopher. Look, I tied my own shoes.
Yay, Christopher! Yay, you did it.
So I'm predicting pretty dresses and lots of fights and tears. And
love it.
Bees.
And bees, of course.
Bees.
So it's an outdoor wedding.
It's an outdoor wedding, and bees fly in Suki's mouth.
Oh. So she doesn't get married?
She does. Oh, no, they get married. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
That's what I got.
You all need to subscribe. I mean, I want to subscribe. I want to know what's going to happen. Oh my God, seeing it through Carrie's eyes. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Good night, everyone. Have a good one.
Good night, everyone.